Sri Narad Muni asked Brahmaji, O chief amongst the demigods, O first-born living entity, I beg to offer my respectful obeisance unto you. Please tell me the transcendental knowledge which specifically directs one to the truth of the individual soul and the super soul. This is the distinction between Atma and the Jivatma and the Paramatma, the two. My dear father, please describe factually the symptoms of the manifest world. What is the background? How is it created? How is it conserved? And under whose control all this being done? You have that same thing, no? My dear father, all this is known to you scientifically because whatever was created in the past, whatever will be created in the future, and whatever is being created at present, as well as everything within the universe, is within your grip, just like a walnut. So Brahmaji has already been the one who has created the world in the past, the present also he is doing, and the future also he will be doing. Now we are talking about this, how the super soul, that is the Paramatma, and the Jivatma, how does this form exist. So we are going to do what is called as the Karana, the cause of all causes. The reason why everything has come out, how it has come out. My dear father, what is the source of your knowledge? Under whose protection are you standing? And under whom are you working? What is your real position? Do you alone create all entities with material elements by your personal energy? As the spider very easily creates the network of its cobwebs and manifests its power of creation without being defeated by others, so and also you yourself by employment of your self-sufficient energy create without any other's help. Whatever we can understand by the nomenclature, characteristics and features of a particular thing, superior, inferior, equal, eternal or temporary, is not created from any source other than that of your Lordship, thou so great. This is Brahmaji is being, he is the one who has created so many forms. There are lakhs and lakhs of forms that he has created, or should I say millions. So there are millions of forms that are created. How he has created, what is the differentiation between each and every form? Every form has some difference or the other. Because if you see the species, the genus, they keep on differing. And then there are different kinds. Even in human beings, you will find that the human being, which we call today as the Homo sapien, there were various other kinds also, like Homo erectus and so on and so forth. There are various kinds before. So there is a difference. So what kind of difference is there? Yet we are moved to wonder about the existence of someone more powerful than you when we think of your great austerities and perfect discipline. Although your good self is so powerful in the matter of creation. See, even in our world, what exactly do we do? Now Brahmaji is creating something. So naturally Brahmaji is under instruction from somebody. So that person who is that somebody must be greater than Brahmaji. So that is the reason why this question was asked. Can you tell us about this? Who is this great person? And what exactly does he do? My dear father, you know everything and you are the controller of all. Therefore, may all that I have inquired from you be kindly instructed to me, so that I may be able to understand it as your student. Lord Brahma said, My dear boy Narada, be merciful to all, including me. You have asked all these questions because I have been inspired to see in the prowess of the Almighty Personality of Godhead. Whatever you have spoken about me is not false, because unless and until one is aware of Krishna, who is the ultimate truth beyond me, one is sure to be illusioned by the observing my powerful activity. So Brahmaji's powerful activities of creating this universe is there. All the species, the worlds. So he says, he acknowledges that there is something greater than me, which we call as Krishna. So how he was instructed that he will say, I created after the Lord's creation by his personal effulgence, known as Brahma Jyoti. Just as when the sun manifests his fire, the moon, the firmament, the influential planets, and the twinkling stars also manifest their brightness. I offer my obeisance and meditate upon Lord Krishna, whose invincible potency influences them, and to call me the supreme controller. So everybody in this world who praises Brahmaji for creating such a beautiful universe is being praised. So Brahmaji in turn is praising Krishna because he is the one who is given him the grace to create these objects in the world, and he doesn't want to take credit for it. He says only by Krishna's grace has this come about. The illusory energy of the Lord cannot take precedence, being ashamed of her position. But those who are bewildered by her always talk nonsense, being absorbed in thought of it is it is mine. So every person in this world is ahankari. So what they say is maine kiya, I have done it, I have done it. So in the same way, Brahmaji also says, I don't want to take this credit because at the end of the day, it is Krishna and his potency which creates this. So it is Krishna himself is not directly involved. What is happening is the potency of the Lord is creating this whole universe. The five elementary ingredients of creation, the interaction thereof set upon by eternal time, and the intuition or nature of the individual living beings are all differentiated part and parcel of the personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. And in truth, there is no other value in them. So all these are finally coming out of the five elements alone. The whole universe has come out of the five elements. That is fire, air, water, all these, yeah, these are the five elements which have brought about this creation. But again, these five elements to come together and then work further ahead to create this universe, all this mixing around. Like we have done this particular thing called the Tattva Bodh, in that we had also discussed about how the thing mixes around, what the gunas take charge, how the different elements come about, how different senses come together, so on and so forth. Now all this thing coming together, it has got a particular methodology, and that only Krishna himself would have directed it through his Prakriti. The illusory energy of the god cannot take precedence, being ashamed of her position. But those who are bewildered by her always talk nonsense, being absorbed in it. It is it is mine. This potency works in us. Again, even in our world, the potency is working. See, what happens is when we say God is working through me, the reason why I am saying this verse is we have this idea, मैं कर रहा हूँ, मैं कर रहा हूँ, मैं कर रहा हूँ. And finally, when you want to blame, you say, God, you only did everything. See, when you want to take the credit, it is I who did it. But when you think that everything is going wrong, God, you are such a nasty person. You have gone and done all this bullshit. So it's very easy to blame. So at that time, Krishna himself, through Brahmaji, is telling, I am not the one who is a doer. It is the potency of the Lord. The potency is the powers that the Lords have. Hello, Guru. So it is the potency of the Lord which is creating these universes, the differentiations, everything. The Vedic literatures are made by and are meant for the Supreme Lord. The demigods are also meant for serving the Lord as his part.
You missed one verse.
I completed that and I went back one.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Are also meant for serving the Lord as part of his body. The different planets are also meant for the sake of the Lord, and different sacrifices are performed just to please him. Now in the Bhagavad Gita we had done the Lord's entire manifestation in the form of Virat Swarup. He was the Virat Purush, a Virat Swarup of his, everything was within him. You will find he has so many hands, so many legs, so many eyes, so many mouths, and everything was going inside his mouth, everything was falling inside, if you remember that. Then there were so many planets and so on and so forth. Here also it's the same thing. The Vedic literatures have described this. They are meant for the Lord. They are basically forming the framework of the Lord. It is like if you are creating the roof, you should know that there is a framework on which the roof is created. Correct? The whole roof is sitting on one frame. There is a framework on which the roof is sitting. In your entire body, if you never had any of the skeletons, then you would not be, you would just be a lump of flesh. Just imagine a round lump of flesh, okay, like the minions. Okay. So we are not like that. So we are also having a framework. The whole body is in space because of this framework. The Vedas form the framework of the Lord Himself. So then they are followed by all the demigods, and everybody in everything in the world is perfectly matching it. All different types of meditations or mysticisms are meant for realizing Narayana. All austerities are aimed at achieving Narayana. Culture of transcendental knowledge is for getting a glimpse of Narayana, and ultimately salvation is entering the kingdom of Narayana. Here, what is being mentioned over here is the manifest form. If you remember one of the chapters we were doing, the manifest form of the Lord is called Narayana. So when you are praying, when we are getting into meditation, or when we are trying to practice meditation, we can only practice meditation, we cannot meditate. If you actually understand it, meditation with the Lord, we can only reach a certain level, and that level is the place where manifestation happens. The beyond the manifest level, to go to the unmanifest, you are using your body to go to the unmanifest. Think about it, it's an impossibility, isn't it? The impossibility is body unmanifest. How can you achieve that? It's impossible. So any person who says that with this body I can meditate on the Lord and see His unmanifest form is talking bullshit and nonsense. Nobody can achieve that. To reach the unmanifest, you have to reach your own level of consciousness to the unmanifest, and that is not possible inside a body. The body can only be a tool to reach Narayana. And that is the reason why he says all different types of meditations or mysticism are meant for realizing Narayana. What is mysticism? Mysticism are the techniques that are used. Like there are so many prayers, prayers are used, so many incantations. Incantations, when people say all these type of, mantras and all. By the way, we are going to do a mantra later on. This is called the Purush Sukta. It's a very beautiful mantra, but again it's in English, so Purush Sukta nahi aayega, that will become Man Sukta or something like that. So we can only reach Narayana. All austerities, whatever austerities that are performed in this, we can only reach up to Narayana. Culture of transcendental knowledge is getting a glimpse of this Narayana. You can get a glimpse of him. You can definitely reach him, by the way. In your meditation or through any of these prayers, you can definitely reach Narayana. It is not impossible, it is possible. And ultimate salvation is entering the kingdom of Narayana. Entering the kingdom of Narayana is entering the unmanifest domain. You can enter from there. You can just take a point of entry inside. Inspired by him only, I discover what is already created by him, Narayana, under his vision as an all-pervading super soul, and I am also created by him only. So that means there is a framework somewhere where the whole thing was actually given as a blueprint to Brahmaji, isn't it? Only when a blueprint is given to Brahmaji can he start creating. So that means Narayana has actually given him the blueprint, and from there onwards he has started producing this entire universe. The Supreme Lord is purely spiritual form. This is what he is trying to say again. So the Supreme Lord is Krishna. He is only in spiritual form. That means he cannot be seen the way you think he can be seen. Transcendental to all material qualities, beyond all the material qualities. Whatever qualities that you can say, he is fair, he is dark, he is this, he is that, nothing is applicable to him. Yet for the sake of creation of the material world and its maintenance and annihilation, he accepts through his external energy the material modes of nature called goodness, passion and ignorance. So he creates himself. What he does is he uses his own potency. Like I can use the power that is there in me to come first in an examination, right? That means God has already given me the power, isn't it? If there are people, those who can race, everybody can run a race, but the one who has got the highest potency can win the race. So the one who practices the highest, the one who puts in the maximum effort, the one who plays exactly the way the game has to be played with perfection, can reach the destined goal, isn't it? You can reach the state of winning. So finally, Brahmaji can create only if he has been given the entire essence, or what we call as the blueprint of production, isn't it? Then only Brahmaji can produce this. So what Krishna himself has done is, he has manifested himself as well. In what? In the material modes, which we call goodness, passion and ignorance. Goodness, sattva, rajas and tamas. Correct? So these three passion of which he has created. Goodness बोले तो अच्छाई बोलते हैं, जिसको हम बोलते हैं सत्व बोलते हैं, वो passion, राजसिक आदमी जो बोले I want to do this, I want to do that and want to achieve this, running after everything. And ignorance, full of tamas. Today I will go to sleep, tomorrow I will see. The one who procrastinates, the one who doesn't even want to do anything in the world, is full of ignorance. So he himself, through his external energies, I told you, external energy is what is one which is called his own potency. Through it, he has created this thing. These three modes of material nature, that is sattva, rajas and tamas, being further manifested as matter, knowledge and activity, put the externally transcendental living entity under conditions of cause and effect to make him responsible for such activities. So sattva, rajas and tamas, in its manifest form, what did it do? It created matter, knowledge and activities. Matter, whatever that we see in this material world, A mixed with B and C and D, all this put together is forming a matter. Some form is there created. Then what is there in that form? Knowledge is there. Some sort of a idea is there. Even if you take a stone, the stone is a manifest thing. Okay? It has got power in it or no? Suppose the stone is a crystal. Okay? If I put it in water, it may turn into a salt crystal and it will dissolve and make the salt salty, that water salty, isn't it? So that means it has some knowledge in it, some activity has to be performed. All these three things are connected to all the manifest things in this universe, whether it's a man, an animal, or any object. Okay, all these things have been converted into this. Now, this has happened because of the powers that are vested in Brahmaji. Remember, this explanation is being given by Brahmaji to Narad Muni. And Brahmaji is telling, this is how Krishna has created this world through me. Now, what are the things he has done? He has used the three modes of Prakriti, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Then he has used all the material ingredients that are there in the universe, put them together to create a certain form. The form has been given certain knowledge also. Some knowledge has been given. And knowledge means this is water. Like you can say, there is water. Now water, activity of the water, quenching the thirst. So three things all put together in one. So this is how it has been created. Then what he says is, everything is under the condition of cause and effect. Cause and effect. Water. Suppose if there is fire, okay, I light a matchstick. Can I hold it? Can I hold the burning end? No. There is always a cause and an effect. If I hold the burning end, I am going to get burned. So in the same way, water can cool. The cause is there, the effect is also there. Everything has a cause and an effect. So all these modes of Prakriti, With these three things put together, that is the knowledge, the matter, the knowledge and the activities, all these have also been given the qualities of cause and effect. So all activities have a cause and effect. O Brahmana, Narada, the superseer, the transcendental Lord, is beyond the perception of the material sense of the living entities because of the above mentioned three modes of nature. But he is the controller of everyone, including me. Now think what he says over here. Because you have got converted into the three modes of Prakriti and the three modes that were described thereon, that is matter, knowledge, and activities, you have really no clue who is the one who has created. Because you have come from the unmanifest, how will you know that you have come from the unmanifest? Like even if I ask anybody over here, I ask you what's your name, you are going to tell me some name. Then I ask you, who are you, a man or a woman? So somebody will say man, somebody will say a woman. Qualifications are there. But will you say, I am the supreme divine consciousness and all that? No, nobody is going to say these words. Maybe if they read some book, they will say, I am that. Now what is that? Nobody can answer that question, because reaching the state of this transcendental, consciousness is completely difficult for a person who is born, who's manifested himself. So he says that is beyond the perception. This God who created us is beyond the perception. We will only give him qualities, isn't it? We will say he is dark, he is fair, he's got hair, he's bald. Something or the other we'll have to keep on saying he is good, he is not bad. Qualities भी देंगे, form भी देंगे, but he is beyond the form. That can never be understood. The Lord who is the controller of energies, thus created by his own potency, eternal time, the fate of all living entities and their particular nature from which they are created, and he again merges them independently. So what does he do? He is the controller of all the energies. जितने भी potencies है इस दुनिया में, जितने भी energies है, he is the final controller. He is the one who created the creator also. Creator Brahmaji is the one who created the creator. He is the one who created this entire manifest world. He is the one who created these elements that are necessary. Also, along with it, he has created time. We are all bound by time. That is Kal. We are also bound by time. He has created the eternal time also. The fate. Fate ka matlab, what is going to happen to you? If you go to the beginning of time, already the laws are in place. Now, if the law is in place, the man has a tendency, तो क्या हुआ? बोला रास्ता ऐसा बीच में से क्रॉस नहीं करने का. Law है, if you are caught, you have to pay 500 rupees fine. You will look here and there, but nobody is watching, and you will cross the road. So our first tendency is what, we don't want to obey any law. So imagine in the ancient times when the laws were written and already everything framework was already in place. If you do this, you get 500 rupees fine. It was already written. Was it necessary to go and cross that? Sita was also told, no? Prakriti was also told by Lakshmana, don't cross this yellow line. बोला ये लाइन है, इसको क्रॉस नहीं करना. बोला नहीं करना पड़ेगा. क्यों? That is the other part of it. If Ramayana wouldn't have happened, then this world would not have been here. It's like this,
Isn't that also defying
It is like this, the whole thing is like a round. The tail of that, what we call as the time, is in its mouth only. उसका मुंह है और उसका टेल है, वो अपना टेल पकड़ के बैठा है. मतलब यहाँ से देखो कि वहां से देखो, वो एक ही है. Yes, there is no other thing in operation. But the thing is, starting from the Satyug, which is the Krita, Laws were very clearly defined. कि ये ऐसा है तो ऐसा है. So
it is just a game.
There is no option, no. You can't even call it a game because he is not doing with what is called as a human mind. Human mind thinks about it. In his world, he doesn't even think. He says, "This is the rule book. जाओ तुमको जो करने का है करो. Scrabble खेलो जाओ." तो खेलते रहते, खेलते रहते, खेलते रहते. It's a never-ending game. What can you do? Finally, the person will come and he'll close that thing and say, "अभी घर पे जाओ सब जन." और दूसरा कुछ नहीं कर सकते. So the Lord's way is like this. He has put the rule book in place. He has given all the elements over here. He says, okay, go ahead, do what you want. You see, in the class also, when the teacher doesn't come, you know how it is. Just imagine if I am not here. I am sure last week when the power went, it was a free for all, isn't it? But everything, all stories must have definitely happened. I don't know who all were there last time. Guru, you were there. Vito, you were there. What all happened? Teacher not there in class, so let us go ahead and do one thing. You were also not there. So it became like a free for all. Till the time, maybe the power came back, or till the time when it was time to close and go. But it went on. So chaos is a part of this universe. See, any object which is kept in one place doesn't want to be there in that one place.
Because human is like.
Yes, I wrote one blog. I wrote a blog in which the woman goes to work, she is very nicely doing this, she is very nicely doing that. And finally in the end I wrote, it's an utopian situation. ऐसा कभी जिंदगी में होने वाला नहीं है.
Single girl in America.
हाँ, और पर सिंगल गर्ल के ऊपर लिखा था मैंने. ये यूटोपियन कंडीशन है. कोई सीधे ढंग से जिंदगी नहीं बसर करता. उसको कुछ ना कुछ इधर उधर करने का जरूरी होता ही है. It is like this. If yeah, yes. Let us say if your bike is working properly, na, one day you will want to find out why is it working properly. You will actually want to open it to understand why is it working properly. But can you not accept it that it is working properly? I know that day when you are sitting with my mother must have told you stories. One of the stories which my mother loves to tell is, the ball is their ball. Okay. So I used to throw the ball and it used to go up like this. So I would jump along with the ball to understand why the ball was jumping. Finally, I cut it open into two to see what is inside that makes it jump. So again, in olden times, there were these. We used to get these imported cars, small car, toy cars. So you do like this, it will go in front. You do like this, it will come behind. I think I must have used it for 5 days or 10 days. The battery got over, then I had to go and eat my mother's brain to get me more batteries. Finally, I said, I don't like all this, every now and then battery and all that. So I said, let me open and see, and I opened the whole car up and it couldn't put it back again. Then it became Humpty Dumpty. So, just to find out. So we never accept straight path. We always want to find usme kya hai, usme kya hai, usme kya hai. So that is curiosity. We have this. So.
But the Lord wants his world to progress, go through the cycle.
See, you will find that in the last chapter we did, everything is for reaching the Lord. Every action is there meant for reaching the Lord. But we, human beings, we use the same mind and the same intellect for not reaching the Lord. It is like you are told, I kept this biscuit inside, I will give you one biscuit in the evening. No, you don't want one biscuit. Can I have the whole thing at one time? So you will open the dabba and you want to eat the whole thing at one time. That is the reason why the story of the man with the chicken, the golden egg, he cuts the chicken to find out whether he can get all the eggs at one time. So we are like that. So you cannot blame God for that. The idea of creating the human beings is to reach Him. But we are not wanting to reach him, we want to reach after every other thing in the material world. After the incarnation of the first Purusha, Vishnu, the Mahatattva or the principle of the material creation takes place, and then time is manifested, and in the course of time, three qualities appear. Nature means the three qualities appearance. They transform into activities. So the first Vishnu which was created, he is the progenitor of that. He is the one who started creating the whole universe. He is written over there as Karanarvayasi, Vishnu. Then from him the Mahatattva came. Basically the characteristics that are required. Now how is air? How is air? You cannot catch it, no? Water, it's again very slippery. Solid, it is having some qualities. So everything, the quality differentiation, how it is, what it is, came about, that basic qualities with the items, Mahatattva, that which is going to create those type of things. There are no English words for this, by the way. We are trying to reach as close as we can for this with these words. Okay. मैं लगाऊं थोड़ा?
आपको गरम होगा?
मेरे को थोड़ा गरम हो रहा है 2 मिनट के लिए.
नहीं लगा. मैं तो इधर.
हाँ ठीक है. So the principles of material creations take place and then time is manifested. The manifestation of time also has to take place. Why? You see, if everything is to be time bound, imagine if everything is timeless, then what will happen? Only creation will keep on happening and no destruction. मतलब हम लोग ये नहीं बोल सकते न्यू 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 नया 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 नहीं बोल सकते. बोला वही यूज करो जो है वो. अब 100 years, 200 years, 500 years वही रगड़ते बैठने का चलेगा क्या? नहीं ना. That is the reason why time was manifested. In the course of time, three qualities appeared. Nature means the three qualities appearances. They transform into activities. Again, the three qualities appeared. All the three qualities define the way a person is. Sattva will make a person very godly type of a person. He is good at heart and all those things. Rajasic type of a person is full of activities. I want to do that. And then tamasic, relax करने का. Material activities are caused by the Mahatattvas being agitated. At first, there is a transformation of the modes of goodness and passion, and later, due to the modes of ignorance, matter. Its knowledge and different activities of material knowledge comes about into play. This is what I was explaining just now. The word itself cannot be translated, so that is why he says material activities are caused by the Mahatattvas being agitated. Imagine when you agitate all this, मतलब ऐसा पानी भर के है एजिटेट नहीं होगा, लेकिन थोड़ा सा गैप रखो, बॉटल में थोड़ा सा गैप रखना और हिलाओ, हो गया ना, उसमें एजिटेशन आ गया कि नहीं. That is why a person who is full of knowledge cannot be shaken. One who is full of knowledge, overflowing with knowledge, there is no such activity. But the one who has even 1% less knowledge, you know how much of activity that person is filled with? He is going to make noise. And completely empty? More noise. Huh?
In Kannada they say it's full pot filled to the brim.
Full pot will not make noise. Little pot will at least have some bur happening. And empty is going to make too much of noise.
You throw water from the well, no, it will make up. There is noise, there is noise.
So this is how the whole thing came about. The three modes of Prakriti mixed around with all this, and then what happened was, it first mixed with goodness and passion. Goodness, Sattva and Rajas. I told you, in the first Yuga there was Sattva, Rajas, Tamas came about later on. Now this is a full Yuga of Tamas. Tamas is all about ignorance. So the more an educated person, if he says he is a PhD in some nuclear physics or something like that, then you have to understand you should give him a degree of ignorance, PhD into ignorance. Because if you ask him about something, by the way, there was one very recently one research was conducted that the most highly educated people don't believe in God.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they say that the highly educated people have the highest IQ, ignorance quotient. Yeah,
PhD.
a PhD of ignorance quotient उन लोग को ज्यादा रहता है, और जो एकदम नीचे वाला आदमी है जिसको ज्यादा जानकारी नहीं है, but the person who is, you know, godly type of a person who has faith in God, that person, the material worldly person, says he's got low IQ. So low IQ, he has got low ignorance quotient. उसका high ignorance quotient है, इसका low है. It's then after that came matter, because all these things mixed together, plus because of the Panchatattvas coming together, everything mixing around, it created matter, solid matter. Which knowledge and different activities of material knowledge came into play. The self-centered materialistic ego, thus being transformed into three features, becomes known as the modes of goodness, passion and ignorance in three divisions, namely the powers that evolve matter, knowledge and material creation, and the intelligence that guides such materialistic activity. Narada, you are quite competent to understand. So here also, what I explained just now, exactly like that is going to happen. The more the Rajasic person is, the more he is going to say I. The more tamasic the person is, he says, can I go to sleep? And the more the sattvic person, he says, thou art great. वो खाली ऊपर देख के बोलता है भगवान तू ही सबसे बड़ा है. So वो दाव है, ये I है, और ये बोलते हैं I am going to sleep. ये तीन जन का क्लासिफिकेशन है हमारी दुनिया में. So the ego itself is like this kind. You see, in one of the, in most of these mythological stories, you will find that the villain is always Rajasic in nature. The hero is always Sattvic in nature, and the hero and the villain's brother is always Tamasic in nature. वो कुंभकर्ण सोते रहेगा कभी भी, उसको उठाने के लिए पूरा गांव का बैंड बाजा बारात लेके आएंगे तभी वो उठता है, नहीं तो नहीं उठता है.
विभीषण भी तो था ना.
हाँ, लेकिन वो अलग लाइन का था. And there Ravan, he was constantly full of activity. If you see the serial that is going on, he wants to build all golden things and this and that. So many things, he just wants activity, activity and activity. And that is the reason why he wanted. Even when he went to Shiva also, he said, you give me this and you give me that. So many things he asked for. Including his Atmalinga, बोलते मैं तेरे से सब लेके चला जाऊंगा. And that is the reason why it becomes extremely tough. So we have all these three characters in every play, by the way. If you see even our yeah, otherwise it won't be. So these materialistic activities are going to happen. From the darkness of false ego, the first of the five elements, namely the sky, is generated. Sky is generated by the darkness of false ego. Do you think the sky is there? There is no sky there, but we believe that there is a sky. It is the ego which creates the sky. आकाश में तारे हैं. As if you have gone and stuck something over there, heraldite लेके. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. The तारे are looking as if they are one here and one there, ऐसा आजू बाजू में. But the distance between the two stars is going to be billions and billions of miles, isn't it? But they appear together. So the first, that is the darkness of false ego, the sky is generated. Subtle form is the quality of the sound. The second thing that came into the effect is called the sound. Subtlety of these came the sound. Exactly as the seer is in relationship with the sea. Okay, this is a long paragraph. Because the sky is transformed, the air is generated with the quality of touch, and by the previous succession, the air is also full of sound and the basic principles of duration of life, sense perception, mental power, and bodily strength. When the air is transformed in course of time and nature's course, fire is generated. This is the hierarchy in which all the elements have come about. The air, the sky, the sound. The sound is consisting of, see, think about it. If there is no air in this, you can't hear the sound also. Then what is the Omkar then? They say, no, the first was the sound. But the Omkar is the sound supposedly. Omkar is not a sound the way you look at it. Omkar is a vibration. Yeah, it's a ripple. It's basically like a vibration. It keeps on throb. It's like a tick, 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 like that. And it is like a graph, like this it goes. Okay. So, when the air is transformed in course of time and nature's course, fire is generated, taking shape into the sense of touch and sound. So with this, all the elements start coming in. Touch and sound will come, isn't it? ईयर आएगा, फिर उसके बाद उसका ऑर्गन्स भी आएगा, उसके बाद ऑर्गन्स भी आएगा. So like that, he is giving one gradation after the gradation, how this thing is happening. There is a manifestation of water full of juice and taste. As previously, it is also the form and touch. It is also full of sound, and water being transformed from all variegatedness on earth appears odor, and as previously becomes qualitatively full of juice, touch, sound, and form respectively. So all these then what is called as the senses, the sensory perceptions, how you are going to perceive this. Like the sound will be there, it will be perceived, isn't it? You can hear the sound, so hearing will come about. Like that, these are the various things that kept on happening. From the modes of goodness, the mind is generated, and because becomes manifest, as also the 10 demigods controlling the body movements. Such demigods are known as the controller of directions, the controller of air, sun god, the father of Daksha Prajapati, the Ashwini Kumars, the fire god, the king of heavens, worshipable deities in heaven, the chief of the Adityas, Brahmaji, Prajapati, all came into existence. If you remember, I said all the gods which came into existence in the body, eyes, ears, nose, everything came into existence. So all these are gods which have taken up their individual places inside the body. But first came the mind because of goodness. But today mind is there because of not goodness. The more you use your mind, the more you are going to become bad. Michael Jackson. For further transformation into the modes of passion, the sense organs like the ear, skin, nose, eyes, tongue, mouth, hand, genitals, legs, and outlets of evacuating together with intelligence and living energy are all created. Then the different organs came into the picture. O Narada, the best of the transcendentalists, the forms of the body cannot take place as long as the created parts, namely the elements, sense and mind and modes of nature, are not assembled. So this is like an assembly line, how human beings are going to get created. Thus when all these become assembled by force of energy of Krishna, this universe certainly came into the being by accepting both the primary and the secondary causes of the universe of creation. Thus all the universes remain thousands of eons within the water. That is the casual ocean, and the Lord of living beings entering into each of them caused them to be fully animated. So all this came about in the past. The world was submerged in the water. See, still so far the world is not come out of water. It is submerged inside. Maybe in the next chapter he's going to raise it with his tusk or something like that. There is a story, isn't it? So, but this is prior to the creation, prior to everything coming out of it. What is exactly happening? How this whole thing is coming together? That is being discussed. The Lord Mahavishnu, although lying in the casual ocean, out of it. Somebody said something?
Yeah, what exactly is water? I mean, here, is it technically the same water world inside the water? No, I'm unable to understand that part.
No, it is like this. Let us assume. See, like I have said, first, any story. This is like a story book which I am reading. What is a story book? A story book, it's a mythological story.
Yes.
Myth. Myth means what? I don't know whether it is real or false.
Right.
Okay. This is a mythological story. We are having faith. We are creatures with faith, isn't it? So we go with the premise that I believe in it, isn't it? So three things happen. One, this whole thing is being enacted in a certain domain, which is what we call as the supreme divine consciousness. First divine unmanifest. It's happening. Supposedly somewhere it is happening. Somebody is writing the story. So it is happening in the manifest world also. This is the manifest world. Third thing is it is happening inside of you. Now I go about it very slowly, thinking about how your son was born. Think, how did he come into this world? You will find that everything mentioned over here has happened exactly the way it has happened.
Right.
He was lying in the ocean of ignorance. He was lifted by the अभी मैं तुमको बोलूं कि है ना वो चिमटा लेके बाहर निकला या और कुछ वो मत बोलना तुम. What it means by the Lord lifted him.
Correct.
हाँ हम लोग बोलेंगे डुक्कर ने उठाया. और sorry, pig is not responsible. We are the pigs, by the way. So the child was lifted from the veil of ignorance. All this is happening to us. Prior to all the things coming together, how did they happen to come about? It is a technique, it's a technology that is there. Unfortunately, we are using our what is called as a very common mind to understand this. But now think about it from the spiritual aspect of it. What is happening inside the body of the mother, okay, is the same thing that is happening in the universe as well. Think about it. The whole universe, the macrocosm and the microcosm. Microcosm is in the mother's womb. The macrocosm is in the womb of this universal mother of ours. Correct? It has all happened exactly in the same way. And then the replication is there. It's like all the three places it is replicated in the same way. It is like I have the script. This is called the script. This is the script. I am going to create these beautiful stories all over the place. Isn't it? Easily, if you ask somebody, they will say, you know what? Let us say, oh, this film was first made in Tamil, it was very good. And who was that Singham hero? Surya. He is such a great actor, Surya, my God, what a handsome guy. And then the same movie was produced in Kannada also. The same movie was produced in Hindi also. Ajay Devgan, not good. Sorry. You cannot match Surya. Surya energy is more powerful than Ajay energy. See, hit तो हिंदी में भी हो गया. लेकिन जो तमिलनाडु वाले वो बोलेगा सूर्या द बेस्ट, और हिंदी पिक्चर देखने वाले बोलेगा नो 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 अजय देवगन बेस्ट। हर एक को अपना अपना है। तो सेम स्टोरी गॉट रिपीटेड ऑल ओवर द प्लेस। Script is one and the same. Like that, this script is the one and the same. It is getting done one place, another place, and another place. Producer, director, सब अलग। One producer over there is different than this producer over there. This producer says, I am Brahmaji. पेट में वो बोलेगा no no, what Brahmaji came? I was the person. The father is going to say मैंने किया। So I become Brahmaji. There this some other Brahmaji and there somebody else is there. All different stories. So I hope you get the point. So 3 levels of consciousness, One is a micro level, macro level, and the supreme divine. So these are 3 levels. That one is beyond. उधर का प्रोड्यूसर डायरेक्टर को मिलने का बहुत तकलीफ का काम है। You can't meet it. So, yes.
You said in all 3 worlds, microcosm, microcosm, and laboratory, it is everything is replicated. But if you see the downgrade happening here in the material world, is it happening there also?
Yes. If I remove some Puranas and I tell you the stories, last week I don't know whether you were there or not there. I told one story of Ashwini Kumar going and doing all sorts of nonsensical things.
Godavari.
Yeah. Godavari and all that, So everywhere it's the same. Whether you call him Ashwini Kumar or whether you call him some villain in our film, it's all one and the same. So replication happens everywhere. Deterioration happens everywhere. The deterioration that happens here happens there as well as over there. It's like yesterday I was reading one small story. In that Sudama goes and curses Radha. And Radha gives him one solid curse. He tells Radha, तू समझती क्या है अपने आप को? तेरे को कृष्णा कभी नहीं मिलेगा, जा. So you will be born on the earth. He says you are going to be born once and then you will never be. So she in turn curses him. You are going to be born as a demon. Sudama. So सुदामा उसका भाई नहीं है, श्रीदामा उसका भाई है. सुदामा को बोलती है कि तू भी जा, और फिर वो उसको कर्ज करती है तो उसका नाम शंकाचूड़ा बनता है. तुलसी का विवाह शंकाचूड़ा से हुआ था. तो ये स्टोरी में स्टोरी है. मतलब लाइक पार्ट 1, पार्ट 2, पार्ट 3, पार्ट 4 चलते रहेगा अपना.
So the galti has happened there. That's why it's replicating.
No, whether it is a galti or whether it is something real, I don't know. You see, if you are given just every day water to drink, you will not like it. One day you want Coca-Cola, next day you want something else. Can I have lemonade? ऐसा पूछेगा आदमी. No, every day you have, like I'm telling you one story. My wife told me that she cannot cook. So I told her it's okay, does not matter. Every day you give me varan, bhat, batatechi, bhaji. Think about it. Can anybody live like that? Every day the same खाने का, और वही पानी पीना, वही rice, वही this potato sabji. You can't live like that. Huh?
But there are people who live like that.
Who lives? There is very beautiful stories in the. If you read some of the stories written by some of these recent sages, they will tell you how everybody is waiting for an opportunity. बोले कौन से आश्रम में कौन सा खाना मिल रहा है, कहाँ पे खीर मिल रही है. Yeah. They wait for the opportunity. बोला आज है ना, Varamalakshmi, come on, tomorrow kheer will be available. Tomorrow this will be available. You see, you go for a wedding and in the wedding they offer you some stupid stuff, कितना गाली मिलेगा वो उसको. बोलेगा तुमको इडली. What do you think? This is today. Idli is required. बोला you should serve pasta in the morning. लो. आप सोचो तो सही. You know, if you are you are working in a corporate office, you know, if the boss tells you, okay, please arrange for there will be 25 people for we are having a conference, 25 people are going to be there for lunch. You know they are actually waiting for lunch time. और सबसे पहला आएंगे तो पूछेंगे आज खाने में क्या है. कॉर्पोरेट का ये सबसे बड़ा रहता है, वो पहला पूछेगा. And then you serve them tea, you know, like everybody is given one cup of tea. खाली चाय क्या, दूसरा बिस्किट लाने को नहीं होता है क्या? अच्छा उसको बिस्किट देगा तो वो बोलेगा ये कौन सा बिस्किट, ये क्या है, मार ही लेके आया तो. You know, we are never satisfied. You will find this. I'm sure. Have you ever? You must have gone to shop for shoes, sandals. Sandal is two pairs of string coming behind. Okay, with one base and like this. You should go to this metro and all those. कितना उसमें स्टाइल बाजी रहता है, देखा वो है वही आइटम,
Variety.
लेकिन उसमें वैरायटी मांगता है. And the first thing that you will say, this is last time's pattern only. 2 years ago you had the same pattern. No, madam, we have changed it 100 times. No, don't tell me that. This is the same thing I bought. It is not the same, but you still will say it is the same thing. Sir, it's a sandal with two straps like this coming behind. Nothing changes. Shoes with all those, if you ever go to buy kids also, they will tell you, sir, nice, that thing below. We have put something inside, so you will have nice, comfortable cushioning this. हाँ, हम लोग स्कूल में कैनवस शूज यूज करते थे. हाँ, कैनवस शूज एवरी ईयर लाना पड़ता है. We get ready, Senthil and Guru, canvas shoes, and the school is going to tell you which company canvas shoes they want, and the most expensive of the lot. You know why? The school is going to get commission from the dealer. All right, and school uniform has to be brought from one dealer only. बोला दुनिया बनाता है, नहीं वो डीलर से लेने. Yeah, so that it will look uniform.
Otherwise, people from different places.
पहला था ना बिन्नी का कपड़ा लेके आने का. हम लोग के बचपन में बिन्नी का कपड़ा, and they used to specify बिन्नी लाइट येलो कलर का ऐसा ऐसा. अभी ऐसा नहीं. अभी एक ही जगह जाने का, बोलेगा 4 यूनिफॉर्म बनाने का, 2 regular wear and 2 sports uniform. Again, if you spoil them, you have to go again and create 2 more uniforms. Shoes, 2 pairs of shoes, regular 2 pair of shoes, and that is black shoes, and 2 pair of your sports shoes. Ties, at least 4 pairs you should buy. Socks, 6 pairs are more than enough. 6 pairs are more than enough. Can you imagine that? ये जो है हमारा दुनिया है आजकल. In one of the movies that I saw, that young boy who goes to school, he doesn't like shoes because they are white in color. His mother doesn't have that much of money to pay for the shoes for the kids the sports shoes. So what he does is he has got sketch pens. So with his shoes, he draws lines on the shoes, and he used to wear that.
They also done that once.
Yeah. So you draw on that, and then you put some stickers and stuff like that. You get sticker cheap. So you can put it on top over there. Well, these are my kids. So this is one of the movies they had shown this. We want variety like this. Nobody wants straight like पुराने जमाने में बाटा का शूज आता था, बराबर है, व्हाइट कैनवास शूज. अभी ऐसा देगा ना तो बच्चा खुद बोलेगा क्या, व्हाट इज दिस डैड, आई डोंट लाइक दिस. कभी आपने पास्ता खाया है? हाँ, पास्ता मतलब जितना भी उसका 100 नाम है, 100 नाम कुछ अलग अलग है, सबका फॉर्मूला एक ही है, लेकिन कोई एक ऐसा गुलगुल है, कोई ऐसा टूटेला फुटेला है, कोई ऐसा ऐसा है. मतलब तुमको शेप का पैसा देना पड़ता है. हाँ, शेप डिजाइन रहेगा, उसका पैसा देंगे. आइटम एक ही है. वही हम लोग सेमिया घर में बनाते थे पहले, बनाते थे ना. उसमें और उसमें क्या फर्क है मेरे को आज तक समझ में नहीं आया. लेकिन हम लोग अगर सेमिया डाल के बोलेंगे ये पास्ता बना के दिया तो अपना बेटा तो बराबर बोलेगा, Dad, you don't understand. मैं बोला टोर्टिला ऐसा कुछ तो भी वो लोग बोलते हैं उसको. वो कड़क चपाती है ना, चपाती को हम लोग थोड़ा ऐसा कड़क बनाएंगे ना तवे के ऊपर और उसको थोड़ा बेंड करेंगे पापड़ का जैसा, तो उसका बोलते हैं टैको. फर्क कुछ नहीं है, खाली अलग अलग देश में अलग अलग नाम है. लेकिन टैको का पैसा जरा ज्यादा रहेगा, अपना चपाती का पैसा थोड़ा कम. लेकिन बच्चे लोग को वो देना मत, क्योंकि वो बोलेगा मॉम दिस इज नॉट टैको. सो बच्चे लोगों की क्यों बात है, हम लोगों की खुद की बात है. वैसे आइसक्रीम पे नाम पे आइसक्रीम है, हमको कॉर्नर हाउस से मांगता है. बोला नहीं जॉय आइसक्रीम नहीं चलेगा. नो. क्यों? क्योंकि इसमें वो काला पीला नीला कुछ कुछ डाल के देता है और उसके ऊपर है ना थोड़ा सा ऐसा कुछ 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 छिड़केगा. हाँ, काजू बीजू ऐसा कुछ कुछ डालेगा. वो तो घर में भी बना सकते हैं. लेकिन एक बात है, वो बाहर का जो भेल है और घर का भेल में बहुत फर्क है. वैसे फालूदा की बात है. हाँ, फालूदा तो मैं घर में भी बना सकता हूँ, लेकिन वो बाहर के फालूदा का टेस्ट नहीं आएगा. But never enter their kitchen to see how the faluda is made. Okay? You will never want to eat it after that. Okay. The Lord Mahavishnu, although lying in the casual ocean, came out of it, and dividing himself into Hiranyagarbha, he entered into each universe and assumed the Virat root, with thousands of arms, hands, legs, mouth, heads, etc. So in every universe, he creates another Swarup of his own, which is the Virat Swarup of his own. That in turn is one major Virat Swarup. Think about it. Can you imagine that?
So that's why he says many universes.
Yes. And he has got, suppose in one universe he has got 1,000 mouths. Maybe in the other universe he will have 10,000 mouths. Who knows? है ना? So, great philosophers imagine that the complete planetary system in the universe are displays of the different upper and the lower limbs of the universal body of the Lord. Okay, this is something which you should understand. When we use our mind for meditation, actually we use our mind for meditation. When we use our mind for meditation, we are told one thing very clearly. First and foremost, learn to visualize. Visualization is important. So we should visualize. You should learn to visualize. Anything for that matter.
That is bring it to focus.
Yes, but we don't know. Some of us are like blind people in visualization. वो समझता ही नहीं है, बोला नहीं समझता है. Imagine Hrithik Roshan is the same as Abhishek Bachchan. Oh my God. बोला visualization ही नहीं है तुमको. Both are different. Okay. You cannot compare the two, no? So it is like that. So visualization is important. And when you are visualizing, you have to, the philosophers also did the same thing. They visualized the Lord as the Vishwarupa, a particular rope, with huge eyes and mouth and all that. That is why if you see the B.R. Chopra film, or that Mahabharata, there the visualization was completely different, isn't it? That is their way of visualizing it. So every philosopher can visualize the way he wants it. It is just to firm up the faith in that particular divinity. The Brahmanas represent the mouth, the Kshatriyas his arm, the Vaishya the thighs, and the Shudras are born of his legs. This is a dangerous thing to say. You are not a secular country करके पहला बोलेगा तुमको. Today is the 15th of August and they will say, how can the Shudra be born from the leg? No. It's a Purana, it's a very beautiful story. There is an in-depth meaning. We have already covered this meaning of this. So there are different places from where the different entities come from. So this is how it is. Some people don't want to accept it, that is their problem, that's not ours. You see, people don't accept Ganesha. The other religious people will not accept Ganesha. They will say Ganesha जैसा God हो नहीं सकता है, हनुमान जैसा God हो नहीं सकता है. लेकिन हम लोग जो मानते हैं उसको तो मानते ही है ना. हाँ? जैसे अभी डेविल, गॉड, जीसस क्राइस्ट, क्रिश्चियन लोग मानते हैं ना. हम लोग का डेविल क्या सिंह वाला रहता है ऐसा? कभी देखा है अपना डेविल को? लंबा टेल और दो सिंह ऐसा लाल कलर का आदमी कभी देखा है? अपना आदमी, अपना जो डेविल है वो तो रावण के जैसा ऐसा जोर से हंसता है. वो हिंदी पिक्चर में और तमिल पिक्चर में ज्यादा हंसता है. लेकिन वैसा थोड़ी. इमेजिन रावणा लाफिंग लाइक दैट. I can't imagine Ravana laughing like that. But you can imagine. Who says you can't? So visualization is important. So visualizing the way God is, because it is mentioned like this, so you can visualize it. Who says you can't? Nobody is right and nobody is wrong in the spiritual world, okay? Everybody is perfect in their own places. The lower planetary systems up to the limit of the earthly stratum are said to be saturated in his legs. The middle planetary system beginning from the lower lobe are situated in the navel, and still higher planetary systems occupied by the demigods and highly cultured sages and saints are situated in the chest of the Supreme Lord. Okay? From the forefront of the chest up to the neck of the universal system form of the Lord are situated the planetary system named Janaloka and Tapaloka, whereas Satyaloka, the topmost planetary system, is situated in the head of the form. The spiritual planets, however, are eternal. My dear Narada, know from me that there are 7 lower planetary systems out of the total 14. The first planetary system, known as Atala, is situated on the waist. The second, the Vitala, is situated on the thigh. The third, Sutala, is in the knee. The fourth, Talatal, is on the shank. The fifth, Mahatal, on the ankles. The sixth, Rasatal, on the upper portion of the feet. And the seventh, Patal, is the sole of the feet. Thus, the Virat form of the Lord is full of all planetary systems. I am sure, when you all had come and visited for some satsangs over here, this is how I have described, no, isn't it? It's all like that only. But the first, he said, is situated from the waist below. Actually, the waist is like this. No, it is below the waist. Below the waist. The waist is forming a triangle for the matter. If you remember, the waist is a triangular form. If, Brito will definitely tell you, when we were doing the cross, the mystic cross as we call it, isn't it? What we have done in the Torah, correct? It is defined like that, the Keter and all that. Padma also knows about it. We have done that. Yes, the tree of life. So there is a triangle there, formation below. The below the end of the triangle is a place where the first hell starts. So this is how the first hell is starting. It is known as Atar. A-T-A-L-A, Atar.
That which is which cannot be moved.
No. तळ बोलेगा तो डाउन. तळ बोलेगा तो नीचे गया. नीचे. मैं बोलते हैं ना खड्डे में गया. तो खड्डे में गया ऐसे ही होता है. अतल. और हम लोगों को गजगम क्या वो प्रोनाउंस करने को नहीं आता. लो है. नॉर्थ इंडियन डोंट नो टू प्रोनाउंस ऐसा करके वो शाहरुख खान भी बोलता है. कौन सा पिक्चर में? वो कौन सा पिक्चर? चेन्नई एक्सप्रेस में. उसके दीपिका के फादर का नाम कुछ तो भी रहता है. पता तुम्हारा नाम करके हमको नहीं आता है. इज लाइक दैट. वो ऐसा कुछ तो भी है ना एक. हाँ, तो ऐसा है. Others may divide the whole planetary system into three divisions, namely the lower planetary system on the legs up to the earth, the middle planetary system up to the navel, and the upper planetary system from the chest to the head of the Supreme Personality. So this ends how the whole system is based. So now, any questions on this? If not, then I will take up 10 minutes of your time for explaining. Okay, I just put on the light, no, Padma. The second one, this side, this side, this side. Yeah, yeah. It takes time to come on. It is called tube light. Yeah, it's come on now. Okay, I'm just going to explain how the system looks. Okay, and I think two of you all have already got the idea about it, but I'm going to draw it over here, so you don't need to record. Okay, and switch off because this